Hola, mi gente linda, and welcome to PanaVizion, the Todo So Flow podcast that brings you all local stories, news, and music with your amazing, beautiful, awesome hosts, Annette y Clary, the co-founders of Panamia Club.
Yes, PanaVizion Club is a platform collective that makes supporting local creatives and entrepreneurs easier than finding a cafecito on Calle Ocho. Every episode will invite a locally based pana doing incredible things in their community for discussion and highlight a new release from a local musician.
Today, we welcome B from Chill Otter CBD, a local CBD company, to discuss CBD in Miami. And later, we'll also hear from an amazing musician and artist, Golden Flora. Oh, but before we get to that, welcome back from La Isla del Canto. Clary, how are you feeling?
Sun-kissed and gorgeous, and also super excited about the new panas that have just joined. Do you want to give them a quick shout out?
Yes, absolutely. So just to start shouting out our new panas, we have businesses and services and artists from all over the community. The first one is Earth Payas. So she is actually an amazing astrologer that is going to be helping us out.
We also have Bliss Vibes, which is a spiritual jewelry shop.
Edible Landscape Solutions, which does edible plant landscaping, so like herbs and oregano and mint and all that stuff.
We also have Take Care Holistics, which Annette and I can attest give amazing, beautiful massages. We definitely recommend those.
Oh my God, yes. And then we also have Honey Customs. So they do kind of like customized items, keychains, mugs, that kind of stuff.
Yep, we also have Corbin's Creatures. He is based out of Hollywood, Florida, creating these amazing FX sculptures and props and masks. Just amazing stuff coming out of there.
Then we have Bitter Beetles, which, everybody knows that I'm not a huge fan of bugs, but they make actually awesome, really cool bug art.
We also have Happily Ever After in Miami, which is one really friendly community that you guys should check out.
We have Priscilla's Mystical Treasures, which is a local artist making like really interesting artisan handmade stuff.
And then lastly, we have Pique Miami, which represent, he's a Boricua making hot sauces. So yeah, can't wait to try those.
And then we also have MAPA. So for those of you who don't know, so MAPA are people in our organization that actually have businesses that are physical locations. So we have Siba, which is, they make small batch meads over in the Arts District in Bird Road, which is really interesting. Super anxious to try that.
We also have Yo Miami, which if you haven't heard of them already, they were based in 2011. They've been really, really involved in the community, supporting local artists, local musicians, just everything local.
Yeah, and then lastly, we have Artisans Playhouse, which I am so happy to welcome into our collective. They are an amazing creativity center in Hialeah. If you don't know about them, check them out. They do all kinds of stuff, tufting, ceramics, candle making, like everything.
Yeah, awesome. So if you see any of these panas or any of the other panas in our collective and you want to share it with us, you can always tag us and then also use the hashtags PanaPride or also Panas in the Wild.
Thank you so much to everybody who joined. We couldn't be more grateful to watch our community as it continues to grow. If you're interested in joining this directory, simply DM us at Panamia Club on IG or Twitter. It's free. All you got to do is fill out a form.
And also big shout out to our amazing developers who are working on creating our website. So it's a keyword searchable directory. So thank you, Jeremy and Jen, for working on this. We're super excited to be able to roll this out and have people be able to really get involved in their community and find out what's going on.
So yes, now all of that being said, I just want everybody to know it is super important to stay educated about what's going on with our panas and our local community in general. Luckily, Glady and I are here to catch you up on lo que está pasando en South Florida in our segment, Meanwhile in Slow Flow.
So meanwhile, in Slow Flow, we have Always Lunes, a platform promoting independent artists and events in Miami. They have been requested to share events in other communities and other cities around Florida. So they just came out with their Find Your Locals Florida. So it lists an independent event organizers, promoters, and you can follow all over Florida. So I love to see our pana spreading the local revolution.
Heck yeah. And also, meanwhile, in South Florida, our pana and also former Miami Community Radio resident Alex and Chains came out with The Kids Are Not Okay, which is an incredible 10-track compilation in collaboration with queer and BIPOC artists all around the community. Yes, these tracks are available exclusively on Bandcamp, and all proceeds go to Equality Florida, a nonprofit organization that is fighting in the courts to stop the notorious Don't Say Gay bill from being passed.
Lastly, just in time for Miami's everlasting summer season, our pana Soul to Soul, a local sustainable swimwear brand, just released a new line called Spectrum. It's a new collection of customizable swimwear that's ethically made from dead stock fabric. And these pieces allow you to change and evolve your style and really reinvent yourself all throughout summer.
Dang, sounds like me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to try one of those. So yeah, and then in our news, in our Panamia Club news, this is new, right? So we are starting this podcast, in case you didn't know, and if you're not watching on the Miami Community Radio platform, this is Miami Community Radio. We have a residency program with them. We are going to be having a podcast just like this every 2 weeks on Friday at 6 p.m. And then we're going to be inviting panas. We're going to be having musical artists, preferably that are having new releases. So if you're interested in being featured on this podcast, make sure to let us know.
Hit us up.
We will consider you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're also super excited. So a few weeks ago, we had our first Club de Pana, which is a little like intimate gathering that we've been doing. We did one at the beach, and we have an amazing partnership coming out of with Dear Eleanor to create these bi-weekly, very educational, artsy events. So as we've been onboarding our members, we've been asking if they're interested in workshops. We have a lot of workshops lined up. So we would just love to see you there. It's in Wynwood, so very central and accessible.
Yes, come
Free
hang.
Parking. Free parking.
Come hang. That's what it is. It's a hangout.
Yeah, let's hang.
And then lastly, last little news tidbit. We remember I mentioned Earth Bias before, the astrologer. Yeah, so we are going to be working with her very soon on a very interesting collaboration. You guys are going to be seeing more from that in early May. So watch out for that.
Yes. Okay, now that we are all caught up with the community things, now we're ready. We can finally bring in our lovely, amazing guest and pana querida, B from Chill Otter.
Yay!
Hello, hello,
applaud,
hello.
applaud, applaud.
Yeah, what's up? What's up? Our first invitee. Sharon here.
Yeah.
Oh, let's make some room.
Yo.
Hello, hello.
Everyone. I am B, also from Chill Otter CBD or Chill Otter Co. It's a pleasure to be here and an honor. Yes,
My goodness.
you.
Thank you so much
It's
for
a
being
pleasure to have
here.
you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I wanted to just say really quick that and we met each other very recently, and since then it's been amazing to have you be a part of the community, to get to know you as a friend. And I just wanted to ask you, like, who are you? Who are you again? Tell me.
Who am I? What an existential question. Well, to the everyday life, I work my 9-to-5 job, but just that's, during the day is one thing, during the night I'm someone else. Like I run Chill Otter Co. I'm one of the owners of Chill Otter Co. Actually, there's 4 of us.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been 3 years now, and it's been quite a ride, honestly. To say that I'm a part of Chill Otter is to say that Chill Otter is a part of me. Like, we have grown so profoundly over these last 3 years. Chill Otter's my pandemic baby.
Ooh, we all have one of those.
Yeah, I definitely feel that's the consensus right now. Like everybody's just growing their pandemic babies, and we all have these toddlers that we're just trying to like, like coddle and make sure that they're doing the best that they can be. So, yeah, it's been great.
I'd love to hear a little bit about like how you started that process and a little bit about like what went into it and just like the story of the creation part, right?
Right, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's a great story actually. So during the pandemic, we were going through that recession. Everybody was getting sick. Everybody was losing their jobs. And I think that was like the pinnacle point for a lot of us. At the time I was living in Brickell with a couple of roommates. We all had our regular jobs. And of course, everything happened. We lost our jobs. We had to do unemployment and, the whole shebang. And, we were kind of like sitting in our apartment thinking, oh my God, how are we going to pay our rent?
Right.
Like, what are we going to do? So, we have this friend, he's a farmer up in Clewiston, which is like by Lake Okeechobee. And he's like, hey, like, I know you guys are stressed. Just come to the farm. I need some help building my hemp farm.
Right.
And we're like, hemp farm? Oh, yeah. We're totally going to go. So, we packed up our car, we packed up the bags, and we just rode out. It was like about an hour and a half drive from Miami. And, while we're there, we like walk into like this bare farm. It's just a bunch of sticks and like dirt. And we're just like, okay, like, what are we doing here? And he's like, hey, like I'm starting my hemp farm from scratch. And you guys are going to be the ones helping me build it.
You're the farm hands.
We were the farm heads. Yeah.
You were duped.
We were duped. So we're just like, oh man, okay, yeah, let's do this. So like we grabbed a bunch of pots, a bunch of like seeds, and we learned about germination.
Yes.
Germination. Yeah, we learned about germination. We learned about like the irrigation system, how to set it up. There was so much that went into that week where we were just like constantly learning, and the guy that we work with, his name is JP. He runs Bugatti Farms. Hit him up.
Okay. All right.
Right. So JP, he's also a scientist. So he created this chemical called volcanic ash that he adds to all of his plants. So when you look at the plants, they look kind of like a white, like almost like they look kind of dusty almost, but not really. And what was really interesting about this process was he was teaching us how to add the volcanic ash to his plants. And then on top of that, how to add like these other components that have like, it's like a gel that he created in his lab. And it was just so intricate of like how he was growing these plants, because I had never seen a farmer grow plants like that. I was like, what?
Okay.
Why are you putting dirt or ash on your plants? But it all had a purpose. And the purpose behind that volcanic ash was so that it wouldn't have pesticides.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's all organic, all GMO, like non-GMO, like completely vegan. It's just like there was no extra chemicals added to these plants. And we were so mind blown that we were just like, wow, dude, like you have something beautiful here. And we were kind of like in a corner, like, what should we do with this? Feel like we're sitting on gold here, like. And and like we were kind of like in that mindset because we're from Miami. We're just like, how can we make some money?
Right.
But and then we sat with him, and he was just like, hey, like although this is like CBD, like this has helped like so many people. Like there's so he was telling us about his clients and, you know, the people that would come to his farm. And there was a lot of people who had like cancer or leukemia, who were suffering from like all sorts of aches and pains. And, you know, he would be like, you know what, just here, take it. He wouldn't even charge them. He would just say, take it. You know, like, if this is what's going to help you and make you feel better, then I hope you keep coming back. And we saw that and we heard that story and we're like, wow, like, that's crazy. And especially in a time like this, like, where so many people we're either in pain, we're suffering, we're, you know, going through losses. And we kind of just said to ourselves, you know, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this the right way.
Right.
So we, you know, talked it over with JP and he cut us a deal and we're just like, all right, let's send it to print. Let's make it happen. And of course, at the time we had just started up our branding company, just not even a year before. And so we had the CEO of the company, Genesis Martinez. She was doing all the labels. She was creating the branding and we're just
which is so cute, by the way.
Thank you.
The branding is so cute.
It's very cute. In a second, I'll show you guys all the products because they're super cute. But so yeah, and you know, we were like, okay, let's hit the streets running. Like, everybody who sees this product, they're gonna love it.
Yes.
They're gonna love it.
I love it. It's great.
I'm glad you love it. I love it. We all love it. But, you know, like, you know, first coming out, we were so excited and we were so sure that everybody who saw the product would want to throw money at us.
Right. As one does.
One does.
We've all, like, everyone's a business owner here. Like, we've all been there.
Yeah.
We're like, my product's the best. You know, where's the money? Like,
where the money? So yeah, and it was kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. The first couple of months were, it was a bit of a roller coaster. You know, we had this amazing product that we were coming to, like, you know, shops. We were coming to, like, you know, different places, just like, where can we sell this? Like, we were going to crystal shops and we were going to gyms. We were going just about anywhere where we would think that people would want to buy CBD.
Right.
And, you know, like, people were just kind of like, looks expensive. And we're, you know, like,
and it doesn't get me high.
Yeah. So, you know, people were very wary. They were just
like, but the ash, the volcanic
the volcanic ash.
You don't even know.
You don't know. Organic. So, like, you know, it was just so funny, you know, because we were so, like, with this mindset that it was going to be, you know, just wild. And that wasn't the case. But, you know, with some repetition, with people getting to know us, we also started going to local markets.
Right.
You know, we were going to, like, at least 2 markets every weekend. And just trying to get the word out there, you know, make sure that people, like, know who we are, you know, go to, like, little, you know, even there was a time where we were going to smoke shops and we knew that they weren't going to buy our products right from the get-go. So we would just pretend that we were there to buy stuff.
Right.
We would just pretend.
Okay.
And we were like, hey, so have you guys heard of Chill Otter?
Effective marketing.
I hear they're super cool.
So cool. You should look into it. And they're like, what? What's Chill Otter? So
and you were like,
pew, 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 pa, pa. Follow us on Instagram. You know, enough times of doing that, some people caught on and they were like, okay, you know, like, I see you, you know, and they would look at our page and they'd be like, okay, so you do actually have a product. You have something good going on. So, yeah, so that's the gist of it. Yeah.
cool. Yeah. And I mean, I was just going to ask just now because you talk about, like, how it's been a little bit difficult for, like, people to recognize, like, the worth of your product in the market, but also, like, people recognizing CBD at all. Like, how has that been like? Because, you know, you have kind of the crowd that is like, well, why would I use CBD? It's not like it's like gonna get me high like THC, and then you have the crowd that is like, cannabis el demonio, you know? So how do you kind of, I guess, appeal to those audiences?
Especially here in Miami. Like, I want to know exactly like what it was like here in South Florida.
Well, it was definitely a learning curve. You know, it's all about educating the people and really identifying what the differences are between CBD and THC. You know, because THC, like, we all know what THC is. Just we all know.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Whatever. So, you know, it's just like THC, that's like the part of the plant that gets you high. The way that we described it is like CBD is like weed's good sister.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a good sister that's just like, oh man, take it easy. Like, you don't need to get high.
Okay.
So CBD or cannabinoid is a chemical derived from the sativa plant, commonly referred to as hemp. And CBD is like, it's a component that's non-psychoactive. So it's not that part of the plant that's going to get you high or give you that euphoric sensation. So our bodies naturally produce this thing called the endocannabinoid system, right? And what CBD does, it works synergetically with your system to create and promote balance. So, you know, I feel like people don't get that part. It's like, oh, our bodies produce this and CBD helps us and we work together. It's, you know, like, so it really is that learning curve for people to understand that, like, our bodies naturally produce this system and it craves that part of it, that part of the plant. Right. Just like it does with, you know, supplements and vitamins and nutrients. Like, our bodies need all of these things to operate at optimal performance.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Can we see the goodies?
Yes. All right. So I brought it in this like super cute bag because it's the only one I had. So I have a couple of products. I actually brought several products, but so I guess we'll just
show
pass
them out.
down. So I have Delta 8 gummies. And they come in a pack of 10. These will, in fact, get you a little high. But that's what they're for.
Nice.
And then we have CBD gummies for daytime and nighttime.
What's the difference?
So daytime gummies is more for, like, you know, if you're just trying to get some work done, trying to, you know, like get through some homework, or even if you're having, you know, if you're a very anxious person when you go to school, like, these are actually really good to like help you calm down because it regulates your nervous system. So it really just like relaxes you or promotes relaxation.
All right.
Yeah. And then we have the nighttime gummies, which actually have melatonin in them. So in conjunction with CBD and melatonin, it actually helps to, you know, quiet down your mind and just help you relax at night. You know, I've had some people, you know, tell me, hey, you know, like, I've taken melatonin before and I hate the way it makes me feel in the morning. Mm-hmm. But because it's mixed in with CBD and CBD works with your, you know, endocannabinoid system, it balances that like groggy feeling that you get when you take melatonin. So, yeah. And then we have the CBD Chill Recovery, which is for anybody that does sports, has bad knees. If you've had any surgeries in the past, this is really good to like as a topical ointment, and it smells delicious. Oh, sorry.
Smell it, please.
Yeah, if you want to smell it. So I can smell it from here. It's minty.
Is
Can
minty?
confirm.
Yes. Oh, like Vaporub.
Like Babaru, yeah.
But with
like,
CBD.
But with CBD.
Interesting. I love it.
Do you also sell any products for pets?
We do. So we have a couple of pet treats and also I forgot the name of it. What is the name of it?
And then also, what are like the benefits that it can have for pets? Because I know that we all love animals here.
Yes.
Everyone here.
Yes, the doggies.
Yes. So just wondering for people who, love their animals and are thinking about maybe adding CBD, how that can like elevate like the animal's experience or their like disposition.
Yeah, definitely a great question. So we have the CBD treats and then we have the drops. So I have the drops here for like people. So it looks very similarly, and it works. We have the ones for pets and then the ones for people. They look a lot similarly and they work similarly in the same way. So the way that you take these drops, and it's the same for both, you put the drops under your tongue or you can put it in your food. For dogs, we recommend that you put a couple of drops in their water if they don't like it directly in their mouth. You can put it in their, their dry food, their wet food, mix it in. And the benefits for them is equivalent to ours, the same. So they have their own endocannabinoid system. And they have similarly the same effects. It really does help them with anxiety. It helps them if they have bad joints. I know that one of my business partners' dog, that dog is, I want to say 8 years old now. Yeah, she's getting there. So she's pretty old. Her joints hurt. It's really hard for her to run sometimes. So she puts a couple of drops of these in her water, and we've seen the significant improvement with her joints.
Really?
Yeah, because it really does help. When we think about our dogs, we don't think, oh yeah, like they need all the supplements in the world to make them feel better.
Right.
I mean, some of us do. I mean, depending on what kind of parent you are. But but yeah, dogs need help too. So we've seen a large feedback from our clients who tell us, it actually does help. And especially for dogs that are hyperactive too.
Right.
We have some clients like that too that tell us, hey, like my dog is like all over the place. Like, what do I give him? And we always recommend giving them the treats, and that usually tends to calm them down. And, it helps them too because like they're dogs. They don't know what they need.
Yeah. No, great argument.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. But
That's awesome. Thank you for showing us all these projects.
yeah.
They look fantastic.
I also love the packaging.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's all Genesis, right?
Yeah. She does all of our packaging. Shout out to my graphic designer. So let me see if I can do a little close up of this one. This is like my favorite one. Because it's like he's like in a little spaceship and he's taking off. So all of our packaging has like a different type of otter, which I absolutely love. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned Jen. So I'm wondering, because there's some of us who, have businesses as solo entrepreneurs, and then there's some of us who have more businesses in a group. Like you said you have there's 4 of you in the business. So like as we build community and as we work together, I, at least personally, am like fascinated by collaboration and how there is like how creating space. Yes, definitely proud of it. But like creating space and like space for, differing opinions or like for growth individually as well as like as entrepreneurs or as, as a business. So I'm wondering like what your experience has been like during this time. And yeah.
My experience during this time, oh man.
At least working in like a group as opposed to like as an individual.
Yeah. It's been interesting, to tell you the least. There's always a lot that goes into it when you have a lot of big personalities.
I love how you looked at me when you said that. I'm sure it didn't mean anything.
No, not at all. But it's just like if you know yourself well enough, you got a big personality. That's totally fine. But yeah, I definitely went into it well knowing that we all had big personalities and that we would have our challenges, and we did, and we have, and we still do. But you know what? We've been together 3 years now, and we're a family. Even in our story, we categorize us as a family because that's what we are, and we're our chosen family at this point. And the beginning of it, I must say, like it was kind of like we were a bunch of chickens. Just like a bunch of chickens running around, really trying to figure it out. It took some time to like
Just imagine like chickens, like gallinas sin cabeza, like running around.
yeah. So, that's just the way that I could describe it because, we had no idea what we were doing.
Right.
We're like, as one does when you start a business, we just like dove right into it, and we had no idea what we were doing, where we were going. We just knew that we had a mission.
Right.
And we needed to stick to that mission, and we need to provide, organic, non-GMO, vegan products to people and make it accessible.
I feel like that is parallel to just so many stories that you hear because, most people that own a small business do not have a business degree.
No.
They have to figure out what an EIN number is,
Yeah.
like from A to Z, and then they end up juggling so many hats, which is why sometimes collaborations are just like they end up being so great in that aspect, because I'm speaking as somebody who has kind of been in both worlds, right? Because with Aloe Baby, which was my artwear brand, I was completely alone, and now with Panamia and working with Glady, it is like a bit of a difference because I've walked in that path where I've done everything by myself, and it is hard. It is really difficult to wear all of the hats. And then in collaborations, you get to share some of the hats, but then you also have to like kind of smush down your ego sometimes and compromise on some things that maybe you're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. And then it's like being really, really communicative, and communication ends up being something that is super important.
Yeah. I definitely have to agree with you there. We've definitely learned so many ways in how we have to efficiently communicate because, like during the years that we've had this company, there's been ups and downs where there's been lulls, and, that's totally okay. We all experience life, but there's been aspects in where we've just said, hey, I'm doing my thing right now. And that in itself is like a form of communication of like, hey, okay, so you're not doing okay. We're going to pick up the slack where we can, and that's going to happen when you have dynamics like that with you have more than two people involved, where it can be a lot and it can be overwhelming, but you stick together and you make it work.
I'm glad. And, honestly, from where I'm standing, I think that Chill Otter is thriving. I mean, your product is amazing. Your product looks amazing.
Thanks.
And it's in like, how many stores?
So we're in 13 stores right now,
Wow.
including
That's amazing.
Kush. So
Okay. Okay.
So if you are familiar with Kush Winwood, please go buy our products. And then we have a couple of other ones listed on our website. So if you want to check us out and see if we're somewhere near you, please go to our website and find out.
We have a lot of businesses that are also very much interested in like penetrating the like wholesale world and trying to get their business, like moving their business from an online space to being like on a shelf where people can see it and fall in love with it and maybe or randomly just like stumble upon it. So I'm wondering if you have like any advice or any guidance, if you could like share that, or if there's any advice that you would have given yourself on that matter if you could go back.
Oh man, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, no, if I could go back, I would do it all over again. Differently. Definitely. I definitely made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And if there's any advice that I could go back and tell myself is to just really do my research. It's okay to take risks. It definitely is okay to take risks, but just take smart risks. like there's no way to categorize that because things are going to happen, but so long as you're doing your research, you're talking to the right people, because it's so important to talk to more than just one resource. Talk to your locals, talk to your farmers, talk to not farmers, because if that's anybody, but just
They're
just
really far away.
Take a trip to Homestead.
to go to the homestead.
Just knock on the door like, excuse me, farmer. I have a question to ask.
Well, yeah, you could go to your local farmers markets and, really do your research there, because I feel personally like farmers markets has so much insight. So much insight, and everyone is so warm and welcoming for the most part.
Yeah.
Go to your local farmers markets, talk to people within the business. We all want to believe that it's hard to start up a business. To some degree it is, but if you don't take that leap of faith, if you don't take that first step, you're never going to really know what it's like on the other side. So just go for it.
Wow. Yeah, that's
inspiring.
That's excellent advice. Yeah. Thank you. You would definitely have I don't know, there are lots of people that are definitely scared to take that risk, to invest that time, because it's a fear of failure. It's a fear of wasting resources, wasting time. And there is a very real reality of that.
There is, yeah. Definitely.
And then it's really just going for it, and then facing your demons along the way.
Yeah,
because they do show up.
They do, and you know what? It's important that you fail. It's so important that you fail, because if you don't fail, you're never gonna learn. Honestly, if you fail 9 times, get up 10. That's, you just have to keep going. You have to keep going, because you learn from your mistakes, and you learn what not to do.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I've learned that one the hard way too. All the things not to do. I have a longer list of that.
Yes. No, I definitely feel you on that one.
Yeah.
I have one more question, and I guess it is what is the future of CBD in Miami, if you had to theorize?
Future of CBD in Miami. I'm actually very excited for CBD here in Miami. I know that right now it's a little chaotic with all the bills currently passing with THC and the legalization of marijuana. But, Miami is still such a great market for CBD. I feel like right now it has a lot to do more with educating people, because I feel like, CBD is it's a broad market for anyone that might be able to use the product who needs it, We have so much of our older generation, Hispanic generation,
by the way,
who could really benefit from using our products. And, there's a learning curve there, and teaching
a stigma there.
The stigma. But, there's so many people out there who are in a lot of pain, and I see it all the time. And my dad, he's your old school Cuban guy, and who's just I don't need that. And I'm just gomita, gummy. And he's I'll take one.
It is a lot less intimidating way to consume.
Yeah, because it's just oh, candy.
Yep.
Not me coaxing my parents to take, drugs, but, they're not drugs. They're
supplements.
Supplements.
Herbs.
gomitas. So yeah, coaxing them to like try something different because it is a holistic approach.
Yeah.
It's not a cure all. It's not gonna, take away all of your pain, but it does help. Some more than others.
Right.
So, but definitely something I do see an increase of CBD becoming more popular amongst the older generation here in Miami. So I'm really excited for that too.
That's great. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I hope for their sake.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for this lovely conversation, B. Seriously, seriously. Make sure, of course, to check out Chill Otter on Instagram and the South Florida locations where you can purchase their products, including Kush in Wynwood.
Wynwood.
All right.
Yeah, so we have all of our products on sale online. Sometimes we have special sales. You can also check out our Instagram for when we have local markets. We sell merchandise like this lovely shirt.
Wow,
Says
wow.
Chill Honor. Check me out, check me out, check me out.
What
What does it say in the back?
Stay chill. It's the Otter way.
Wah.
That's so cute.
Punny.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
seeing you guys around.
Excited to grow together.
Yeah.
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 Grow together.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to be introducing our bye B.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Now we're going to take a moment to listen to a hot new track from one of our very first and also most involved panas. So if you came by to our event, Panalandia, you definitely danced his beats. Also the creator of our PanaVizion jingle, which we'll talk about that later on. Please enjoy Victoriah
By Golden Flora. We're also going to invite him to the stage
here
as
he
well.
is.
Wow, my
In person,
goodness.
yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I hope you like this unreleased song. It'll come out soon.
swallow my pride down on side before it's heavy, yeah. Ooh, oh.
Woo! Damn. Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You guys get to hear it. If you already went to some of my shows, you already heard that track. Otherwise, I hope you liked it. But this track actually was inspired by. Well, first I heard the lyrics to this song. I heard it as a sample, and I thought that it was so uplifting that I thought that I wanted to give it like to call it after Victory, but in Spanish. But it's also like a girl's name. So I wanted to add an H at the end, so that it's more of like a statement, you know? Yeah. Victoria with like an exclamation mark.
Got it.
Yeah, with an exclamation point at the end and everything. You'll see when it comes out. Yeah.
Well, it's awesome, but I'm
Thank you.
biased because I'm proud of everything you do.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate you.
Full disclosure,
We're cousins.
we're cousins.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
family.
big
But she's my favorite cousin, so
Aw, you're
Yeah.
my favorite cousin too.
duh. I love you. Clarice in the middle, but I love you. I love both of you guys, but
Thank you.
yeah.
All right, yeah, I would love to know a little bit more about like your creative process and like
Okay.
what you're working on.
So, I pretty much go with whatever's sounding good. I actually have more problems finishing projects than I do starting them.
Same.
Because so
Same.
many new ideas
It's a
come
Libra
in, and
thing.
then when you have to go back to the idea, either you have to, put yourself in that mindset, or you know what to do already. It's kind of like you kind of have to catch the muse, and it's a little bit weird because sometimes the muse isn't there, and it's better to move on to another project. But when you move on to another project and you go back to it, then you're like, oh, okay, I know what to do. So it's kind of like having mind tricks for yourself, tricking yourself into finishing a project. But usually, it depends on who's around me, and I get a lot of inspiration from either people around me, the pretty much like what's been going throughout the day, or sometimes I just have something in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and like kind of like watching you grow as an artist over the years has been like really incredible because it's been, like I've kind of like seen you improve and, like being in your process is like, cause like when I'm in the space, right? You ask me like, hey, does this sound good? What do you think? And even though I'm not really like a musician, you still take my opinions into account.
Oh, very seriously. I think if anything, there's a lot of weight in the untrained ear, because almost everybody that's gonna listen to your music doesn't know
Right.
that much about music.
Right.
They just know what sounds good, and they react to good music. You can tell.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, like here and there, people are like, "Oh, I don't really listen to Queen or whatever it is," but usually people react to good music, and you can tell from their face whether the change that you're making in the song works or it doesn't. And sometimes I look back, and if I don't see the expression that I'm hoping for, it's not going hard enough. So I gotta go back.
Go back.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't even ask. I just like look at the face and like, no, that didn't do it.
Ah.
I gotta work. Yes.
I mean, that sort of like emotional intelligence I feel is really important when you are a DJ, right? Because like that's on the spot. Like you are reacting to the crowd.
Yeah. Sometimes I have a Save Grace kind of, not playlist, but like some songs. Like if I'm DJing somewhere and I see that everybody's kind of like, oh, well, this set is a little too chill. Man, Drake saves it. It's so annoying, but Drake is usually. I play Drake,
That's
I say Passion
hilarious.
Fruit, and people start like, oh, I know something. Then they start singing along, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
every
Passion fruit
time.
specifically.
Yeah, every time. It's annoying because like I almost all the DJs that I talk to, they're like, yeah, bro, of course you gotta have Drake, duh, or trap. When you want the vibe up, it's like Darwin from Auto Fresco sometimes tells me, just play some trap, bro. As soon as I start playing some trap, people are like, ah.
Who is Darwin?
Yeah.
I've
Darwin.
never heard of this man.
Darwin's the other half of Ordo Fresco, which is my other project, Latin pop and Latin electronic music. And it was his birthday on Sunday.
Oh, happy
Yeah.
birthday. Wait, does that make him a Taurus?
It does.
Oh,
It does.
interesting.
I don't follow zodiac signs very much, but it does go with him.
Yeah.
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 Right.
I lied.
would
I've
say
met
so.
him, so I can confirm.
How's
Yeah.
that collaboration been, and how's like that? How has like working with Darwin kind of either like shifted the way that you work, or even like what you could conceptualize? Like,
So working with Darwin has been eye-opening in the sense that, yes, I have that part of like, oh, whatever sounds good, I'll just work with that. But he has more of a vision. He knows what genres are supposed to have to sound like that genre. And I'm on the other side that I don't really care about that. But then we come together and he's like, but we could make like a bachata kind of house song. And I'm like, yeah,
Absolutely.
I guess we could do that. And I fight it a little bit because I'd rather make things from scratch. And then I hear the reference and I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. And then I get the same BPM and then I mess around with it. And then he's like, okay, you're kind of getting it. And then I go left field a little bit and he's like, that actually doesn't sound like what I was saying, but it sounds good. And then we do the whole, okay, you're gonna leave some stuff off, I'm gonna leave some stuff off. Like it's compromise. It's
Right.
compromise. Collaborating is all about compromise, as it was mentioned in the last interview.
It's
So
so
it's all
interesting
about-
that this episode ended up being like kind of an episode focusing on collaborations and like how they
partnerships.
work, how
Yeah.
they benefit like
Yeah.
projects and all of that.
and the trade-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it because you don't know what the other person's gonna bring to the table.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely completely different to Darwin in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But when we write things together, we just know that probably half of the ideas that we have are gonna be thrown away. And we have as long as we're okay with that, we can make whatever we want.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So just real quick, where can we find your music?
Okay, so you can definitely find my music, and we have some stuff on SoundCloud for Ordo Fresco and for Golden Flora too, but we're pretty much everywhere, all the stores. For Golden Flora, I do have someone released. Well, they're only released on Bandcamp, so they're definitely released. Some remixes that I have in there. I'm definitely going to add some remixes for SoundCloud and for Bandcamp. One of them is for Fergalicious, which is a guilty pleasure that I have.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite songs ever, even before I could speak English.
Nice.
Amazing.
So I made it samba and drum and bass. I know, it's a weird mix, but it works.
Awesome.
So as soon as it comes out,
I'm here for weird.
I'm going to put it out there. Yeah, you
here
see?
for
That's
weird,
what I need.
yes.
That's what I need.
Yes. Yes.
And at least for Golden Flora, it's mostly chill psychedelic music. I'm trying to do some more clubby stuff here and there. But usually it's pretty chill. For Ordo Fresco, it's definitely more Latin pop, more party music, having fun. We do have a Amazon party, which is a song that we're going to release soon. And we also have The Forest, which I highly recommend you try and listen
Absolutely.
to.
I
Absolutely.
recommend as well if you want
Thank
to
you.
listen to climate change and also dance.
Yes.
Like they're
Shake a
doing
little bit of ass.
incredible things over there. Like,
Yeah, it's a
And
strong message, but it's
also,
fun.
Cafecito is a staple of Miami. So
Oh, yeah. Some people had told me they listen to that song every day, which I'm like, what? You listen to that song
that's
every
crazy.
day?
That's awesome.
amazing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I think it's a good way to start the day too. Like
Yeah.
you
I
think so
have a
too.
cafecito, you
It's-
listen to cafecito.
It has espresso samples in there.
Ha!
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. We
You already know.
actually we didn't get a chance to talk about the jingle, but that's okay.
It's not finished anyway.
It's not finished, but it will be by the time that this comes out.
Yeah, we're going to have Darwin in there as well, saying some ad-libs, and we're going to record these two lovely ladies at some point when we
Yes.
can, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if, yeah. What you guys are going to say some stuff. I don't know what you're going to say yet, but we're going to
Oh, just
fit it in there.
PanaVizion
Perfect.
and by and with an y Clary.
Perfect.
pretty much.
I'll tune that for you, but yes.
Awesome.
We'll
Awesome.
be
I'm into it.
recording artists at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, thank you so much for coming onto this show. Oh,
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
hold on. Go back. Yeah, thank you so much, Jesus, for talking with us. But don't go anywhere because we have another segment, one more segment tonight, where we're going to invite B back onto the show for the segment Keke, where Annette, B, and Jesus and I, we're going to answer some questions. So we're going to ask each other questions and just get to know each other a little bit better.
Oh,
Yes.
I like that. That's what family does.
You want to come up?
We can scooch over here. Scooch over.
Woo! Now that we're all nice and cozy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way that this segment usually works, or usually will work, is that we are actually going to be getting questions from you guys for our coming episodes. But since this is the very first one, we're actually gonna have like each of us ask one question to ask somebody else, and yeah, and that's how it'll work out. So I'm actually gonna throw you in there. You're first.
Oh man, what do I have to ask a question?
Yeah, to any of us. But it
Oh,
has to be
man.
one person.
I have to ask a question. Okay. I'm gonna ask you. I don't know you. This is our first time meeting. I don't know him. Where do you see the future of your music going?
Thank you. So the future of my music, I believe that is going, or hopefully is going towards a little bit more commercialism. We want to have sponsors, like for example for Cafecito, we want like, if we would love to have somebody like Pilon, for example. For La Joda, we talked a lot about sauce and sal y pimienta, so stuff like seasoning, you know. Goya, that would be great. Hey, I'm being serious, all right? We also, I feel like our music would go really well for shows, and but that's for Oro Fresco. For Golden Flora, I would like to do like movie scores. Yeah, because people are like, wow, every time I listen to your music, you sound like you're taking me through a whole trip or whatever.
The
Perfect.
hero's journey.
Great. Like, yeah, music is good to enhance whatever you're doing, but if I can take you somewhere else and completely forget that you're in this reality, perfect. Awesome. That's what I want. That's what art is supposed to be. It's supposed to make you feel something. Yeah. So hopefully it takes me there. Are we doing that thing that now I have to
Now
ask
you
a
have to
question?
ask the question. Correct.
I knew it. Okay. I don't want to do the back and forth. It will be too easy. Yeah. And that's my cousin, so I guess I'm gonna ask Clady. Are there any personal projects that we don't know about that you're working on at the moment?
Yes. Well, actually, so I'm trying to grow. I'm a yoga teacher. I just graduated 300 hour. So, and I found yoga through like pain, and so it's helped me a lot. So I'm really excited to be doing that a little bit more, and kind of like doing it in pools actually. So like pool yoga, where you are not like
Wavy.
having to deal with gravity anymore, and you get to relax
That would
and
be
really
nice.
surrender and really find a little bit more peace. So that's actually something I'm really excited about because I love the water, and I'm really excited to be doing that, try it out. Yeah, also acro yoga. There's so much to movement and like moving creatively and just like intuitively. Like sometimes, just dancing in your room is almost as good as like, or even better than perreando in the club, right? So like,
I feel that
so
for
like,
sure.
how do we move like in a way that is like joyful and like restorative, and I'm all about trying to look into that. So yeah.
Oh, that's very inspiring, actually. I like that answer. I like that you said surrender. It's very visual. Yeah, like I can see myself. It's a very good instruction for something like yoga classes. Yeah.
Yes. So now it's my turn.
Yes,
My
it is.
question, as I was dared to do, is you have a very specific like feeling towards reggaeton.
Yeah.
And I would like to just
She had this question saved.
yeah, bookmarked.
That's okay. I'm ready for this question.
And I just want to like hear a little bit, like delve into that, and just where do you go dancing? If like, how do you run away from the reggaeton here? How do you deal with it if it's like literally blasting in every single car?
Well, I've been dealing with it all my life. So at some point, you have
I'm
to
a
find a
pro.
way, you know. I had to be honest. I don't mind if you listen to reggaeton. I don't mind if anybody listens to reggaeton. I personally think that it's boring. It's okay. You can put it in the comments. You can burn me. It's all good.
Hot take.
Yes, 100%. It's fine. It's fine. I just feel like it's the same beat over and over. My favorite is when people play like a playlist of only reggaeton music and then they say, I like that one song. And I'm like, ha! Hilarious. What do you mean? Did the other one end? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, this isn't a 2-hour song. Oh.
Oh, yeah. And I know that people are going to be like, but what about house music? I totally understand. But they do have different drum patterns once in a while, and I appreciate that. And I just wish that reggaeton did that a little bit more often. But I don't like the fact that as soon as they do that, they are relabeled and they say it's world music. You know? And I feel like reggaeton could be more fun if people just used a different drum pattern. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I like a lot of stuff in there. Like the vocal processing, beautiful. Some of the samples are great. The collabs are great. And then as soon as I hear the beat, I'm like,
Sounds like the challenge is for an artist out there to create reggaeton music that Jesus likes. So
yeah,
wanna
if
hear
I don't do that already. But then somebody's going to be like, well, that's not reggaeton. And I'm like, yeah,
But that's what it could be.
you got me. Yes, thank you. That's exactly.
I see you.
I need interpreters because I just like my cousin, I have a strong character. So I'm going to tell you what I think. But if you can persuade me, I'm all ears. Ready.
Love it.
Okay, well, I guess I am to ask the last question. So I was going to ask you a question, but then it would be back and forth, and that's not fair. So I'm going to ask V a question. Okay, so B, I know that you have like definitely some experience, like just going through like the Miami community and seeing like the different some of the different phases that it has been in recent years. So I wanted to ask you kind of like, where do you see like the community? I mean, I understand this is a very broad question and it might take a long time, but I mean, like, I guess in 30 words or less, right?
Okay.
Where do you see like the Miami community going as a whole?
You know, I'm actually really excited that you asked this question because, you know, I'm born and raised in Miami. And, you know, I have seen this city evolve in so many different ways. You know, and I think we're at a time now where both millennials and Gen Z, we're coming together. We're here now. We're coming together. And, you know, I really feel like beautiful things are happening. You know, we have new music, new performances, people who are creating different subgenres of things, and it's all happening here. And, you know, every day I come across a new creative. And every day I come to think, like, how can I, like, have you be, like, I feel like this is like Harry Potter. And we all, we're all in houses. And we're just like, how can I get you in my house? Like, how?
Yeah.
So, you know, like, it's kind of like that feeling where you just come across so many cool people all the time. And, you know, and anytime that somebody tells me that they're a Miami native, I was like, wow. What's up, bro? Like, there are very few of us left. You know, so I'm actually really excited to see where Miami is going. You know, I'm not too excited about the gentrification. That
Not
part I'm not
great.
excited, but the community, the people who live here, the real people, I'm excited for, you know, what's to come and, you know, all of the new collaborations that are in store for all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, panel. This has been Keke. So in future episodes, if you want to submit questions to people that we will be having on our podcast, you can in upcoming episodes, you can DM us on Instagram or Twitter at Panamia Club.
Dali, mi gente linda. Y con eso, we conclude the very first episode of PanaVizion. Join us next week to learn more about creatives and entrepreneurs working to change their communities.
Yes. And if you enjoyed our podcast and if you want others to engage with their fellow panas, leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please and thank you.
Bye. See you next week.